So today's draft, Big Cat, which remote at-home draft setup would we most like to be present for when the draft gets rolling next Thursday night? I've got the trivia question for you. If you get it right, you get the first pick. Here we go. There were 47 trades involving picks in the 2019 draft. Who is the only NFL team to not do a single draft trade last year? Boy, this one's hard. Here's a hint. They also have yet to trade any picks in this year's draft. That's really not much of a hint. You're throwing a dart in the dark on this one.
This is impossible. Give me the division at least.
AFC West.
Ooh,
well, why did I
my
just
gut
do
was going to
that?
say the Bengals. All right, the Chargers?
That bop, 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 bop. That really doesn't count. You shouldn't get the first pick.
Wow, what a pick.
Yeah,
I'm
one
so
out
good
of
at
four.
this.
1 out of 4.
Okay.
That's how you did the SAT. You just went through 1 out of 4 and circled one of the whichever A, B, C, or D caught your fancy at the time. You got lucky this time. Go ahead, take the pick.
Okay, number one, easy one. We just talked about him, Dave Gettleman. If we have the picture of him in his home office setup where it looks like I don't think he even knows that how a computer works or where the computer should be or what's going on. I don't know if it's plugged in. I would love to see Dave Gettleman's setup on draft night. He doesn't strike me as a computer guy. Remember, he hired the analytics team this past year, which was essentially just the Geek Squad from Best Buy. So I would love to watch Dave Gettleman's draft setup. He seems, I don't know if you saw the quote, Mike, but he said that the worst part about this remote stuff is he doesn't get to touch and feel and smell these prospects. So that to me means that he's more of a get your hands on it guy than sit at home and hop into a Zoom or an AIM chat. So I'm going to go Dave Gettleman number 1.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick. I mean, it's going to be a real challenge for him because this definitely is not up his alley, and he would have had to have gotten up to speed very quickly over the past few weeks to get comfortable with it. For me, though, you left the best one on the board. If I'm going to hang out all night, first night of the draft, any night of the draft, any sliver of the draft, I want to hang out with Jerry Jones. I want to, first of all, because wherever he is, it's going to be nice. Whether it's one of his houses, whether it's the bus, whether it's his boat, it's going to be nice accommodations. There will be plenty of Johnny Walker Blue available and other refreshments. And you just get to hang out with Jerry Jones and see how the sausage gets made for good, bad, or otherwise.
Okay, I'll tell you why that's a bad pick. Jerry Jones also doesn't strike me as a guy who is computer savvy. Jerry Jones also strikes me as a guy when his computer's not going to be working or something goes wrong, he's going to have a meltdown. I don't want to be around Jerry Jones when he has a meltdown. Why?
I want to be around.
Because if my last name isn't Jones, I'm probably getting fired.
I was thinking that you were going to go more with once he doesn't know what's going on, you actually get put to work. And he expects you to figure out how to work his computer. Kind of like, I remember when I got my parents a microwave, it sat there on the counter for 2 years before they ever bothered to figure out how to use it. And that was only after I showed them how to use it.
How old are you?
Old enough. Old enough.
A microwave?
To party.
I'm just thinking of the old tech, you bought it in the Sears catalog in the 50s. Oh, look at this technology. Microwaves.
No, microwave's slightly more recent than that. All right, make your next pick. We don't have a whole lot of time here. Because one of us has to leave early. One of us can't commit to the full show.
I don't have the barn in the office in West Virginia. I'm stuck in a 1,000 square foot apartment in Brooklyn. All right, my next pick will be easy. It's your coach, Mike. I would love to watch Mike Zimmer navigate this draft and navigate technology because, again, I'm going for picks where I don't think that they jive with the newest technology. And Mike Zimmer doesn't really strike me as a guy who spends a lot of time on the computer. I'd be hard pressed to find Mike Zimmer even having an email address. Do you think he has one? Do you think they finally made him get one because they're like, hey, we're going to have to send you a link for this?
No. He's savvy. He's got a cell phone and he texts. Trust me.
That's the bar?
Trust me. I've received some hostile text messages from time to time based upon the things that I have said. So yes, off the record. Too late for that. But yes, hey, I think that having email is below knowing how to use a phone and actually text on it, don't you? I mean, if you can actually send out cognizant text messages on your phone, you've at least figured out the tech game a little bit. Haven't you?
No, I think I disagree, because I think the email is like, people just have emails, but they never use it, because why would you need it if you're a football coach?
All right. If I were you, this is where I'd be saying I'm completely and totally dominating the draft, because how can you leave Bill Belichick on the board through 2 rounds? This is the ultimate opportunity to expose him as being a complete liar when he talks about not knowing anything about technology. I don't know what Bookface is and Snapface and Face Chat. And then you see him morph into, right, Stephen Hawking when he has a chance to get in front of this wall of computers, and he's mastering every possible angle. Yeah, I want to be there when Belichick has this code cracked, because no matter what happens, he's going to have this thing mastered, because that's just who he is. He's always going to figure it out. He's always going to find an advantage.
I mean, I was going to say Ernie Adams is probably Bill Gates, and we just don't know it yet. So he Ernie Adams probably has them all set up. That's why I'm not going with that pick, because he also, it's not really exposing that he knows about those things, because we all know he knows about those things, and he's just doing coach speak when he does it. Okay, my last pick, I'm going to go with, I can't believe this is on the board. I want to see Mike Zimmer's draft room. I mean, not Mike Zimmer, Mike Florio's draft room. I'm getting my mics confused. I want to see Mike Florio's draft room. Why do you always make the
third pick? Why do you always find a way to make the third pick about me? Do you have no other ideas? You've been in the barn.
I love the barn. So let's get a live webcam to go to your draft room, to your war room, and see what's going on, see what's cooking. And let's see, maybe we can catch you. I know how big of a family you have. Maybe we can catch you in a Dak Prescott situation.
No, that trust me, that has not happened. We have fully complied with all stay-at-home orders, all CDC guidelines, yeah, it'll just be me and my son in the barn. And I don't have any draft picks, if you haven't heard. I've yet to trade into round 1, so I don't know why you think that would be interesting. You left on the board so many guys. I got to go Andy Reid. I thought that's where you were going. How would you not want to be with Andy Reid? For the same reason you want to be with Jerry Jones, because Johnny Walker Blue. You want to be with Andy Reid because the spread is going to be unmatched.
It's true. The spread's going to be unmatched. I saw Andy Reid, that picture of him with his computer. Andy Reid actually seems like someone who knows his way around a computer. So I think he'll actually be competent in this. I don't think you'll have the comedy of errors. You know who's a sneaky one, Mike, before I go? Vic Fangio's another one. Watching Vic Fangio and John Elway try to navigate the draft would be very, very funny.
Couple that I had on the board, Bill O'Brien, just because nobody quite knows what he's doing as the GM of the team. He's a good, quite possibly. Chris Greer, just because the Dolphins have 3 first-round picks. I think the level of activity that night is going to be worth the price of admission. And then I got to mention Tom Telesco, the Chargers GM, because Peter King had a photo in Football Morning of America of Tom Telesco's house. I tell you what, of all the jobs in sports, being the Chargers GM must pay the best, because that place is a palace. That's where I want to hang out on draft night.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.